I think that some of that gets lost in translation when restaurants or catering companies think about posting on social media, and they want to see a return. Is it worth it? How do I know if it's working? And people have a misconception of how long it takes for it actually to work and for you to see results. And they also have a misconception of what those results should be. And it's not always, I make a post and this many dollars come into my restaurant. It's more about the long game. Can you talk about the ROI and the long game of the ROI?
Absolutely. I just did a video for YouTube right before this call about having a media company for 5 years and not generating any revenue and not quitting. I mean, we started our podcast Behind the Smoke in 2017. I invested my money, restaurant money, my time, my effort, doing a weekly show, Behind the Smoke, that eventually turned into digital hospitality, knowing that there were other people on the internet, that if I got better as a storyteller, I would connect to other humans that I respect and admire. I would get opportunities to do really cool stuff, and we could actually build a better business. So I built a media company on top of my restaurant. And now this year, we're going to do over 7 figures in revenue from brand deals and sponsorships and client work, all from digital story, all from the things that I learned from the 5 years where I didn't make money. Now we're going to add 7 figures of revenue to my overall company profile.
Right.
And that's really exciting for me, because not only are we going to add 7 figures of revenue, is I know now how to make revenue so I can see 8 figures. Like, I couldn't see 8 figures as a restaurant owner unless I'm opening up more restaurants.
Right.
I can do what I'm doing now and get to 8 figures in revenue. That's crazy to think about. I had Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Famer, on my show, literally sitting down in Las Vegas at his Big Chicken conference. They're paying me and my media team to go and cover the conference. And I'm sitting down with Shaquille O'Neal, having a conversation with him while my son and my daughter are in the back with my wife. And during this interview, Dana White, who's a keynote speaker at the conference, walks into my interview with Shaquille O'Neal. Like, if you told me that in 2017, I'd say, Deuce, you're nuts. That's not going to happen. But Dana White walked into the interview that I was getting paid to do with Shaquille O'Neal. I would pay.
Yeah.
I had the money. I would pay 6 figures. I would pay $100,000 for the opportunity to interview Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah. But you don't get that unless you're willing to do the work. Like, you've got to do the work ahead of time so that people know you, they respect you, they believe in you, they trust you, so that they'll actually put me in front of Shaquille O'Neal to tell the Big Chicken brand story.
Yeah, that's an amazing example of the ROI paying off and how long it takes.
It's the long game.
It is the long game. And just to say, Shaq is amazing. He's a true one of one, and one of the most, he's so charismatic. He's got a great business sense. He's, an amazing basketball player, obviously. What a great opportunity to be able to get to interview him. And I'm so happy for you to have that opportunity, for sure.
It was amazing. And watching you and what you've done with the podcast. And I mean, the work that you've done in the barbecue space ahead of you, like before you started telling stories digitally online, was already unprecedented. You had so many connections of people that knew who you are, knew who your family was, knew the work that you guys did at professional barbecue contests. But now you have the ability to have someone like Malcolm Reed onto your show and have a deeper conversation that his audience, your audience, which is just, it's like, we don't need to make YouTube. It's there.
Right.
It's crazy. But you got to be willing to do the work to get better at YouTube. You got to get better at Instagram. You have to get better at LinkedIn. You got to get better at creating an article from this long form conversation, because people learn in different ways, and where they see you and how they see you. All of those things, it's all compounding.
Another thing we talked about at the conference, and that I'm really starting to take more to heart, and it's kind of hard to digest, is you always have to be thinking that you're creating content for a new viewer. So a lot of people get caught up in like, oh, I'm putting out the same content, or they're just scared to say, oh, I put out a trimming brisket video, I can't do that again, but actually there's so many new people, and your content gets pushed out to non-followers more than followers, especially on the new algorithm stuff. The TikTokification has changed the way people see content, and a lot of time you're in front of people that don't know who you are, which is great actually, because you want to reach new people, but people are scared to put out, content they've already talked about. And that's something I'm trying to get more comfortable with, is telling the same story. I've showed how to trim and cook a brisket 20 different ways, and I know now that I'm going to have to show it 20 more different ways, because that's what people want to see.
It's play the hits. If you're a creator, if you're a music, like whatever you do, if it resonates with an audience, our natural state as a human is to not want to repeat ourselves, because we don't want to sound crazy.
Right.
Every time you tell the story, you should be getting better at telling the story.
Right.
One of the examples I use all the time is I study comedians like Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock and Kevin Hart, and understanding these comedians, before they go on Netflix, they have told that joke hundreds,
yes,
thousands of times, maybe tens of thousands of times, that same joke where they changed one word, they changed an inflection point, they paused, they changed how they were standing on the stage. But they do that over and over and over again, and they learn until they get to the next Netflix special, and the act is so tight that you're like, oh my God, I have to share this with somebody else. You have to go see their new
such a great
Netflix
example. And I heard that specifically about like Joe Rogan's last Netflix special, and them talking about how many times he's giving, though, like he went up there and just talked for an hour and a half with no notes, just straight up telling those jokes exactly how he wanted to tell them based on the reactions that he got doing it the previous 1,000 times.
Yep.
And it just came off like he was a complete pro, which he is, but it was amazing to watch, and kind of knowing that background of it, how much work and how much effort went into him getting to that point,
I mean, that goes, the formula that we shared on stage, which is, how do you create quality content? Like, how do you prepare for a podcast? How do you prepare for a video? And for me, the answer is quantity plus speed plus consistency will eventually equal quality. That quantity, speed, and consistency. And the problem is, we all want quality first.
Right.
We want the best video. We want the Netflix version of our speech, our TED Talk, our video to be perfect. And it just doesn't happen like that.
Right.
You got to put out a quantity at speed with consistency before you can sit in front of Shaquille O'Neal and not shit your pants. I mean, that's the truth. Sure.
Give me a hot take of what influencers, not influencers, but creators should be thinking about in 2025. If they're thinking about making more content on Instagram, on TikTok, for LinkedIn, what should people be focused on? Is it still short form? What's your hot take? 5 things that people should be focused on for social creation in 2025.
I mean, the hot take is that people should be investing in YouTube, which is crazy to even think that that's a hot take, because YouTube is the OG of social media. But I think because short form has become so prevalent, and people are so focused on Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels and TikTok and even YouTube Shorts, that we've kind of ignored the fact that YouTube is the #1 TV channel in the world. It's the #1 TV channel in the world. I mean, think about how many people are on YouTube globally. But you have to have a YouTube first mentality, which is why, we've hired YouTube producers specifically for Cali Barbecue Media. And that's why I'm doing a lot of YouTube first content. Because it allows you to think differently too. When you're in a short form content creation mode, you're not really, how much value can you add in 15 seconds?
Yeah.
You're chasing viral, right?
Right.
And I think for me, I'm a huge fan of Alex Hermosi. He creates business owner content, acquisition.com. He's written 2 phenomenal books, $100 million leads. This is one of the Alex Hermosi books. His podcast is one of my top favorite podcasts. But he talks a lot about...
Both those books are on my nightstand, by the way.
It's phenomenal.
Just saying.
Absolutely phenomenal. But he talks a lot about going wide. So he started doing lifestyle content and food content, and started noticing his YouTube channel starting to get a lot more views. but they were the wrong views.
Mm.
They weren't business owners. He's like, we're going back to basics. Like, I want business owners, even if it means less views. Those are the people that I want, because those are the people that might eventually become clients at acquisition.com. Those are the people that might do consulting. These are the people, and these are the things that I care the most about. And I think that's a really slippery slope when you're talking about TikTok and Instagram and even YouTube, is like, who do you want to connect with? And for me, I'm a micro influencer. I don't have you have, your numbers are way better than mine, but I care about the business owners and the brands that actually own businesses. Like, I care about the restaurant owner that's on Aloha that is thinking about switching to Toast. Why? Because Toast pays me money to be a creator. They sponsor my shows. And if they have 100 restaurants and they're on an outdated legacy point of sale system, I want them to learn about why is Toast the best partner for them and their technology moving forward. So if I can connect with 100 people like that versus 100,000 that don't own a restaurant, for me, I'll take the 100 people all day.
Very cool. Yeah, I think about that a lot. And we went back and forth with producing some more long form videos and really telling the story. My favorite one was when we cooked my dad's recipe for the baby back ribs on the Weber grill, and we did a long form proper YouTube video like that. But it does allow you to think differently, really be able to tell a story and get all the information and education to the people
I'll
that
share
are interested.
something real quick that Jesse Stein, he was a guest. We do a Rising Tides live show every Wednesday and Friday that anybody that's listening to this, you're welcome to join as a guest. So we bring up the audience. But Jesse Stein, he's building an AI tool, but he shared something about don't make how to, make how I.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear how to do something. Don't tell me how to do something, but tell me how you did it.
Right.
This is how I did it. Whether you want to do it that way or not, hey, I'm Deuce. I've won all these championships. I run these restaurants. I run this catering company. We started Sweet Baby Ray's. This is my family recipe, but this is how I do it.
Right. And that was the biggest takeaway from Mike Mills. Do you remember Mike Mills?
I do. I love Mike. 17th Street was he's, rest his soul, amazing man.
Yeah. Truly, truly amazing. But that's what he always said. And now he wasn't producing content, but he would do classes and he would always say, this is how I do it. You might have to find your own way, but this is what works for me.
I love it.
And I took a lot away from that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's true. It's honest, you know?
Yeah.